That's the first of Sky Sports Sunday games, and the second one is a massive game for ahead of the top four, or looking ahead to the top four race for the last 10 games of the season. It's Newcastle versus Manchester United. We'll take a look at the betting that we currently have at matchbook.com. You can back Newcastle favourites in this game, 2.52. Manchester United, 3.05 on the road. The draw is 3.55. Both teams to score, yes, is quite short here, 1.76. No is 2.16. The Asian handicap line sees Manchester United get a quarter of a goal head start at 1.82, and the total for this game is 2.5, shaded a small bit to the under. So, look, Adrian, this was your game of choice. I guess it was it wasn't your game of choice. That was the Arsenal Leeds game, but in Newcastle Manchester United game, this is such an obvious one to cover here.
I would have picked it too.
Yeah, I think so. It's such a huge game. Like, it's a 6-pointer for the top four.
Yeah, it is, and it's a really interesting game. It's the third time, obviously, they would have met this season. So we had a goalless draw at Old Trafford. We had the League Cup final, which Manchester United won fairly comfortably by 2-0. But, low scoring affairs. Newcastle failed to score, obviously, in both of those games. And I think familiarity sometimes, leads to more caution. Everybody knows each other that little bit better. And the strength that you need to nullify. So Newcastle have had 2 good looks at Manchester United now, and I think they'll have a better idea of how to stop them this time around. So I do think it'll be low scoring. The stats kind of back that up. If you look at Newcastle's home games this season, 9 of their 13 have gone under 2.5. They've not been involved in that many thrillers. We had the early one, didn't we? 3-3 v Man City. That was definitely an outlier. 8 clean sheets in those 13 home games. And United, it's a middling record on the road in terms of unders. I think 6 of their 13 have come under. The concern for me, if I was a Manchester United fan, is the form away to the better teams in the division. Against the top 8 this season, away, they've played 4, lost 4, scored 5, conceded 20. Obviously 7 of those were at Liverpool, but still poor. Brentford battered them. Arsenal did batter them, really. It was a good game. Well over 20 shots from Arsenal, scored 3 goals. City, 6-3. Obviously, it was a long time ago, but they still haven't delivered on the road against anyone decent. Manchester United. And I think this will eat away a little bit at Erik ten Hag and his players to some degree. And I think that they will respect Newcastle United in this fixture, and that they'll not play defensively, but they'll certainly look to not concede goals early on in the game. They'll look to keep things a little bit tight. So I see this being a low-scoring affair. I think Newcastle have got a great chance of winning it, but I wouldn't stick my neck out on the line and back them. I'm happier going for unders, which is a slightly more attractive price than the last one. Was it 1.9, 1.94? Yeah, I think that's a decent enough price on under 2.5 goals. So that's my pick here.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Mark, on this one. That you're expecting another KG. We're not really set on this Sky Sports Super Sunday with 10 games to go in the Premier League season.
No. I mean, both matches have plenty of intrigue about them, but I can certainly make the case for unders more so than overs at the prices in terms of a betting heat. And yeah, Adrian's touched on most of what I would have said, really. You go back to the League Cup final, United winning that game 2-0. The goals arrived from a set piece and a deflection. I thought it was quite competitive for the most part. Newcastle perhaps a little bit disappointing in that game, but go back to the reverse at Old Trafford. They shut United down, really winning quite impressively in that 0-0. One of 6 0-0s they've been involved in the Premier League already this season. They have got back on track with those back-to-back wins. Isak's introduction has given them that clinical edge in the final third. Quite surprised he's actually scored 6 goals in 10 Premier League appearances, because his campaign's been quite fractured by injury. He's probably gone a little bit under the radar until recent weeks, but they haven't been keeping clean sheets as regularly as they were at the start of the campaign. However, at St James's Park, they do tend to be strong opponents. 7 shutouts already in front of the home supporters. Their matches under Eddie Howe against the top 6 do tend to be tight affairs. 10 of 17 have gone under 2.5 goals. And they're hosting a United side who have fired blanks in back-to-back Premier League games. And their only win at top half teams came at Fulham. They're coming into this game without Casemiro, without Eriksen, Garnacho, doubts over Rashford and Sabitzer as well. So, yeah, United haven't been purring recently. 2 wins in the last 5 league games. Weren't completely convincing in the first half of one of those wins against Leicester either. So, yeah, and whilst their sort of defensive numbers do look pretty horrendous on their travels, almost all of those, 54% of those goals conceded came against City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, who you'd say are probably 3 of the top 4 most lethal forward lines in the division. I don't put Newcastle in that same bracket, even if they are sort of league position-wise up there. So yeah, I think it's almost a must-not-lose occasion for United. This and Newcastle obviously will be well aware of the importance too. So I was very tempted by Newcastle +0, but it's 1.77. So to me, it was kind of logical just to back under 2.5 goals here at 1.94 because if Newcastle are going to win, are they going to score 3 goals or more in this match? Obviously, United can contribute in a 2-1 or a 3-1 as well, but I just think you get so much more on your side backing under 2.5 goals than anything pro Newcastle. We've got the 0-0s, the 1-1s, and the 1-0 and 2-0 either way as well. So, probably being a little bit dismissive of United, they still are a quality outfit, but going through a bit of a lean spell after what's been a really tremendous sort of turnaround under Ten Hag. So there's an opportunity here for Newcastle, but don't see this game getting out of hand, if you like. And I think also it's probably worth noting that in that League Cup final, it was quite a tetchy affair, especially in the second half. United pulled out all the sort of dark arts, if you like, and there might be a bit of a revenge opportunity here for Newcastle, but they did sort of start losing their heads a little bit towards the end, and discipline has to be on point if they are going to get the result here.
Yeah, you mentioned the dark arts, and Newcastle are pretty decent at it. I have a theory that's purely down to Kieran Trippier, to be honest with you, spending a few months with or a couple of years with Diego Simeone, like, would do that to anyone. I just think he's brought that to Newcastle, and then he has let him away with it. So now I think they are as good as anyone on the defense of the dark arts, but we will lock in under 2.5 goals at 1.94. As we were talking there, 0-0 sort of appeals in both those Super Sunday games. Matchbook, you can do multiples on Matchbook as well. That's in and around 138.5, second best on the odds checker grid, and that's before the markets get real liquid as well. So if anyone wants to check out and do a cheeky 0-0 double, you can do that in the Matchbook betting exchange. I know I'll be doing that after talking myself into it, and the guys talking myself into the unders here. So little fun one to cheer on. Full recap of what we've covered so far. Manchester City, Liverpool, we're going with both teams to score, yes. Arsenal Leeds, we've locked in Arsenal, both teams to score, no, 2.24. West Ham versus Southampton, we're locking in the unders at 1.82, and the unders again 2.5. That is for Newcastle versus Manchester United. Insights.matchbook.com. There will be a lot of bets thrown at you in the next few minutes. Full recap there from Thursday afternoon, and that'll be available